Hey guys, so in this video we are going to implement the way that the player wins the game. And one thing that is important to note is that the player never actually wins the game. So the game never ends with the player winning. The game only ends when the player loses. So winning the game is the player is not actually winning the game. I mean, to win the game, it's basically about the high score. I mean, the highest score you can get when you are playing the game. That's how you win the game, because if you can beat your own high score or someone else's, that's just a thing. Because what will happen is that when the player wins the game, let's say, and the player wins the game by destroying all the invaders before they reach the Earth, in this case. But then again, when the player does that, the game does not end. The game starts again from the beginning, and the invaders start a little bit lower, and the game continues like this until the player actually loses. And that's what we are going to do. So, let me see. Okay. So, like I was saying, the condition to win the game, I mean to reset the game again from the beginning, but without losing a life, is destroying all the invaders. And here we have two approaches that we can use. The first one would be we know that we have 55 invaders, and we have a variable called like destroyed invaders, something like that. And every time the player destroyed one invader, we would increase that variable. And when that variable reached the number of 55, then the player would win that game. But this is not very, let's call it scalable in a way, or I don't know. I think it's always a good practice to think that if the approach that we are using is the best one if we want to change the game in the future. And what I say like this is that we are using the 55 because we know that we have 55 invaders. But if tomorrow we decide to have 80 invaders or 20 invaders, this approach don't work anymore unless we go and change that value. So it's not the best approach. I always think it's a good practice to think, okay, is this the best way to do things? If I want to change it later, I'm not going to have to change a lot of things to make this work. So the best way in this case, that if we are thinking, okay, maybe I will change the number of invaders, I want to be prepared if I might change the number of invaders, is to do the other way around. I mean, is to start from the total number of invaders that we have in the game, that we don't know how many they are, because we are going to use, when we are creating the invaders, when we are cloning the invaders, we will increment that value until the max invaders that we have. So we don't need to worry about how many invaders we actually have in the game. You only need to worry about that when that invader count reaches the number of 0, it means that the player won the game. It means that it destroyed all the invaders. And this is always a better approach. So first we need a variable to hold the number of invaders that we have in the game. So let's create a new variable, a global one, because it's a single variable. So invader count. And now what we are going to do with the invader count, we go to the sprite invader, and what we are going to do is every time we create an invader, we increment the invader count. So we can do it after creating the clone here. So after we create the clone, we can just change the invader count by 1. And let's not forget to, when the game starts, or when we receive the create, in this case, not when the game starts, in this case, it's when we start creating the invaders, we need to reset the invader count. So invader count to 0. And every time we create an invader, we change invader count by 1. And now, when And now, when we destroy an invader, we decrease the invader count by 1 also. And when the invader count reaches 0, it means that the player destroyed all the invaders. So we are going to do that here in the invader. When it touches the laser, we start the sound, change the score, and after the animation. We can do it after the animation, so we can actually see the invader being destroyed, the last invader being destroyed, and only after it we stop the game and start again from the beginning. So what we are going to do here is, after this one, we are going to change the invader count by -1. And now we can add a condition that maybe we need to add an if-else condition, because only going to run all this if we didn't stop the game. So if, and we can put this here, so if the invader count is equal to 0, so if the invader count, what is it? It's here, is equal to 0, then we are going to reset the game in a way. So let me put this. Sorry, because I'm making some mistake here. Oh, I dragged this. No, it's touching the laser. This shouldn't be here. Yeah, sorry. No. Why am I saying that invader speed greater than 0? I'm changing invader speed by this and change the BTY. Because we are destroying the invader. Sorry, yeah. Now I was making a mistake. I was thinking that this was something that the invaders were always running, but no, we are changing the invader speed and the BTY every time we destroy one invader. Yeah. So my mistake. So we change the invader count. When the invader count is 0, we do all that. If it's not 0, then we delete the clone and do all these kind of things. Actually, we can delete the clone either way. I mean, it's not a problem. So we do this. And now when the invader count reaches 0, we need to reset the game. And to reset the game, we could either create a new message, but we already have the message to destroy the player, which is actually the one that we need. Or not. No, because destroy the player is also decrementing the player lives, and we don't want to decrement the player lives. So can we call the reset? No, we cannot call the reset because, let me see. Maybe we can call the reset. Yeah. We hide the player, we do all this. Yeah, we can call the reset, but what we need to make sure is that when we call the reset, we need to stop other scripts in the sprite so that we can also stop the movement of the player while we are resetting, and we hide the player and switch the costume. Yeah, so we call the reset. So here, let's try it. On the events, we are going to broadcast the reset. And yes, maybe it is something like this. Okay, so now we need to kill all the invaders. And that's going to be really hard to test, so I'm going to change this. So we're going to repeat 1 and going to repeat 5. I don't know, we have like 5 invaders, and I'm going to try to destroy them. And here, maybe I'm going to take the laser count so that I can just shoot a lot. Okay, we have 5 invaders, now it's easy. And I can shoot a lot of lasers. Wait. Okay, it reset the game. I still have my score and start again from the beginning. And yes, this is what we want. The game like this is really fun. And yes, this is exactly what we want. The only thing that we are missing right now is that the invaders, when we reset the game, the invaders should start a little bit down. And we can also do that. Let's see. I must not forget to change it back. So let's see. What we are doing right now is that when the invaders reach the edge, how much are we changing? Oh, we are changing y by -7. So this is what we are going to do. So basically we need a variable, because right now we are starting always at -7. The invaders are always starting, the first invader is always starting at -7, and we need a variable here that we can decrement throughout the game, so that it goes back to the so that the invaders start lower and lower and lower. So let's create a new variable. And let's call it invader start y, because it's the starting position, the y position of the invader. And it is a global variable. Yes, it is a global variable. Okay, and here we need to do something, because we need to set this value when we start the game. Because if you are going to change it, and here we need the green flag actually. So when the game starts, we are going to set the invader start y to -7. And then we can use the invader start y here. That's where we are going to use. So the first time is going to be -7, and we are going to instantiate the first invader, the first invader on the -7 y position. And then every time we win the game, where were we winning the game? I don't remember. Here. Before we broadcasting the reset, we are going to change the start invader start y by -7. So it starts a little bit down. That's exactly the same amount that we are shifting down when they reach the edge of the screen. Now let's try and see that if we can see it actually happening. Okay, we kill all these invaders. That one got away, so we just wait, and we have a problem with the missiles. Oh, I have no idea if they are starting. Okay, we need to change the -7 because I have no idea if they are actually doing that. So here, by -50, I don't know, -50, I think we can actually see it happening. Now we can also show the original. Yeah, it works. So you see that they start here, and then I'm gonna kill all of these, and they start below. And yes, let me see if we lose, if they start below the player. Yeah, and now it gets in the loop because it's destroying the player and at the same time resetting the game and destroying the player, resetting the game. So yeah. And -7. Yeah, and this is it about the winning. Oh no, this is it. Not I need to put back what I was changing. So this is, we repeat 5 times and 11, and the player, it's going to have this condition here. Yeah, I think it's correct, and I can shoot. Okay, yeah. We see if we can destroy the player as well. I didn't break anything. Oh, I cannot catch a missile. Oh, here comes the missiles. Yep, destroyed. Start again from the beginning. We lost a life, and yes, it is correct. I mean, this is it. About winning the game is as simple as this. So, like I said in the beginning, like the player never actually wins the game. He just plays the game again and again and again until it loses. But that's how it works. And this is it. I mean, this is the game from start to finish. I mean, we made some small modifications from the original game. It's not exactly the same. We didn't add like the menu or anything like that. Probably, I'm thinking that on the next engine that we are going to work with, maybe we are going to get into also that stuff, like having a proper menu and going back to the menu when you lose, having a high score. I still don't know, but I haven't done it for Scratch. Maybe I'll come back to Scratch later to do it. What we are missing right now is probably I'm gonna do some one video, one more or couple more videos. One to fix some errors that we have. We still have errors when the invaders are shooting. We still have errors when the player is shooting and is destroying more than one invader, or the missile or the laser does not show. We need to fix that, and can also add the ground. I didn't add the ground so far because it's just like a small detail. I don't even have it here. Yeah, I don't know why. But we have like this ground sprite that just changes when it gets hit by the missiles. We also are not using the laser shot animation, explosion animation, or the missile. We can also add this. So maybe I'm gonna do like a couple more videos. One to fix bugs, and another one to just add these like bells and whistles. You know, like just make it a little bit cooler. Cooler? Yeah, better. And yeah, this is it. So thank you guys. I'll see you on the next video.